Hello and welcome to Craft with Sarah and another video in my series for 2025 of free flower pot designs to use on a range of different holidays and occasions. For today, we're looking ahead to graduation season with this lovely sunflower with his mortarboard on top and a diploma by the side of the flower pot. You can customize the design for any type of graduation, whether it's school, college, university, or something else entirely. The design looks lovely framed in a shadow box as a memory of the special occasion, or you can shrink it down to go on a greetings card. Here's how it looks when it's made super tiny to go on a card. This is a 5x7 card, and it looks really cute on there, and I added a little congrats message underneath as well. So let's find out where to get the free SVG to make this graduation paper craft and how to make it. Let's get started. You can find the free files to make this project at craftwithsarah.com/free-SVGs, or click the link in the description of this video to go to the tutorial where you can download straight from that page. You'll need to register a free account on my website in order to download any of the designs. The download comes in a zip folder. Before you can get the files into your cutting machine software, you'll need to unzip that folder. Visit craftwithsarah.com/help for instructions on how to do that, as well as a wide range of other tutorials on how to use your Cricut, Silhouette, or Scan and Cut machine. Once you've downloaded and unzipped the folder, open up Cricut Design Space and start a new project. Go into Upload over on the left, and then Upload Image. You can then either click Browse to find the file on your computer or drag and drop it in. Make sure you choose the unzipped version of the download folder, and within there you'll see lots of subfolders with numbers down them on the left-hand side, as well as one called Assembly Guide, and that contains the printable PDF guide that shows you the order to stick all the layers together in. If you're using Cricut Design Space, I've made things really easy by putting the file you'll need in the 01 Cricut version folder. If you're using a Silhouette or a Scan and Cut instead, head to craftwithsarah.com/help for tutorials on which file to choose for your particular type of machine. But as I'm using a Cricut, I'll go into the 01 Cricut version, and within there is only one file, so it's really easy to know which one to choose. The file starts SVG-01 in the file name. Drag that in, and it looks like this with all of the pieces one on top of the other, so it looks like a completed picture. But don't worry, once it's uploaded, Design Space will automatically separate out all of the pieces and colours for us. If yours looks different and you can see all of the different pieces separate on the screen, or if your screen doesn't look like this and you see options about removing backgrounds or creating layers, that means you've accidentally uploaded the wrong file. So if that's the case, press cancel down here on the bottom, try again, and make sure you go into the 01 Cricut version folder and select the file that starts SVG-01. When it's looking like this, press continue, and then upload. And then it will automatically insert onto your canvas. It loads in at a size that's nice to cut, but of course you can resize it. To do that, make sure the padlock at the top of the width and the height box is closed. If yours is open, you can click it to close it. And that means you can type either the width or the height, press enter on your keyboard, and the other measurement changes to keep everything lovely and in proportion. I'm going to cut this large to go in a shadow box and smaller to go on a greetings card. So that you can see those sizes and the types of things that I'm doing in Design Space, I'll show you both of those projects. But if you want a step-by-step video guide or a written tutorial on how to achieve similar results yourself, for example, how to make your own shadow box backgrounds and how to create your own greetings cards, as well as how to change the colour of the graduation flower pot design, head to craftwithsarah.com/help, choose your type of machine from the list on the screen, and then there are loads of different software tutorials in there on how to customize these SVGs to make your perfect craft project. Let's take a look at my shadow box first. This is the shadow box design that I'll be cutting. I've made the flower pot 7.75 inches tall, which is just under 5 inches wide. My shadow box as a whole is 9 inches wide, so it is quite a big frame that I'm using. And then within there, I've got some mats and layers to build up some visual interest. My black one is 6.5 by 6.5, and the white one is 6 by 6. I changed the colour of the flower pot to blue to match the rest of the theme, and then I've added this Senior 2025 image that I found in Cricut Access. To find this image or similar ones, if you've got Cricut Access, you can go into Images and type in Senior 2025, and then there's lots of different ones to choose from. This is the one that I chose. I just deleted the hat because I already had the hat on the sunflower, so I didn't want that one as well. And then I rotated it round so that it'd fill in the space a little bit better. And this is what I'm making for my greetings card version. My card as a whole will be 5 by 7 inches when it's folded in half, which means my base card is 10 inches wide by 7 inches tall, and I've put a score line down the middle. My flower pot for this one is much smaller at only 5 inches tall and just under 3.25 inches wide, but it will still cut really nicely with the Cricut machine. I've added a congrats image, which I again found in Cricut Access, and then I've made a little shape just to add a little bit of kind of extra colour and interest behind the flower pot. Again, instructions on how to make this kind of card or the shadow box that you just saw are at craftwithsarah.com/help. So that's given you a couple of ideas of how you might use this to design, but now let's go back to the original project to see how to cut it out. Here's my flower pot straight as it laid it in, which is 7 inches tall. So if I wanted to cut this one out, I would press Make, and that will separate out all the colours. You can change the paper size in the drop down here, and then you can rotate and press the Shift key to rotate evenly and move things about to use up less space on your cardstock. You do need to change the paper size for every colour individually, so go ahead and do that if that's something you want to do. And then when you're happy with how everything's looking, press continue to connect to your Cricut and follow the on-screen instructions to get everything cut out from your cardstock. If you're new to cutting cardstock with your Cricut, or if you're using a different brand of cutting machine such as a Silhouette or Scan and Cut, once again, head to that craftwithsarah.com/help page for full instructions following the entire cut process through, so you can see exactly how to load your card on the mat, put it in the machine, take the card off the mat, all of those steps. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and get my shadow box version cut out, and then we'll see how to put it together. Here are all the layers of my graduation flower pot cut from cardstock. I've laid them all on top of each other following the assembly guide that's included in the download folder to check that I'm happy with all of my colours and that I haven't missed any of the little pieces out along the way. We'll be putting it together with a mixture of glue and foam squares. The glue I'm using is Barely Art glue. I really like this because it doesn't bend or wrinkle the cardstock like some glues can do. And I also like Kalal for the same reason, although note that Kalal is a solvent glue, so it does have a little bit of a smell to it, which the Barely Art glue doesn't. I live in the UK and get both of these on Amazon. To add some dimension between the pieces, use foam squares. The ones I'm using are from Dot & Dab, but any brand or make will do. These ones are nice because they're quite small, so I'll be able to fit them in all the little areas, but if yours are bigger, they can be easily cut with scissors. As with all my layered designs, we'll start at the bottom and work upwards. So I'll move some of these bits apart, try and keep them in vaguely the same order, seeing as I've gone to the effort of putting all those bits in the right place. There we go, and then we're left with the two bottom green pieces. The first one will be a foam square layer, so turn it upside down and get your foam squares. Try and put some foam in all of the sticky out sort of extremity pieces, like the points in the leaves and the tassel on the edge of the hat and around the stem and places like that. I will cut one of my bits a little bit smaller to go in the middle of the stem. And then work your way around the edge, adding a good amount of foam squares on here so it will stick really nicely. It's always better to have a few too many than not quite enough. And as well as putting your foam around the edge, put some in all the middle sections too. We want to make it so that it'll be a nice level amount of these to hold all the cardstock firm and flat. Continuing on in the top. There we go. I think one more just in there, and then I've got some that I've cut smaller from another project. I just went down with my scissors and cut them in half, and they'll be perfect for going in the stem and that little bit of the leaf. Next, peel the tops off of the foam squares to reveal the stickiness underneath. It's a nice idea to have a little pot or something handy to put all the tops in. You can just put them on the edge of your desk, which is what I always used to do for a very, very long time. Just try not to knock them off, which I also used to do quite often for a long time. Putting them in a dish is much safer. Right, now they're all nice and sticky. Let's bring the base in. And I'm going to line this up using some of the details on the edge and then gently drop it down, trying not to put any pressure on any of those foam squares yet. The reason for that is that then if I wasn't happy with where it fell, because it isn't actually stuck yet, I can pick it up and move it and nothing's damaged. But that looks pretty good, so I'm happy to push down to stick. Then next up, you can either make the sunflower at the top or you can make the diploma and the flower pot. It doesn't matter which way around you want to do it. I think I'll go for the flower first, starting with this, and this will be another foam square layer. Once again, line it up, gently drop down, and if you're happy, which I am, push down to stick. Next is the yellow piece to go on the petals. This one again is foam squares. Line it up, gently drop down, and if you're happy, push to stick. I was a little bit over-eager then. That wasn't actually the best stuck down. I think it'll be alright. I can just wiggle it about. There we go. Then we've got the brown for the middle of the sunflower, and this will be glued on. And then the largest layer of the hat, also a glue layer. Actually, no, I'm doing it wrong. We're doing the tassel next. Glued. Ah, that was almost a close one. Okay, tassel, there we go. Then hat layer. Here we go, so that the hat just covers that little bit where it pokes in to make it nice and neat. Then next up there's the second colour for the hat. Now I chose two black bits of card that are really similar, so actually can't even really tell the difference, which isn't great. I should have used cards with a little bit more colour variation, but never mind. Then the final piece of the hat in the black will be foam squared on. Goes along the bottom. And finally, the strip of colour will be glued. Top section done. Now move on to the bottom. Start with the main flower pot with some foam squares. Line it up. Ooh, I was not happy with that. Let's try again. And push when you're happy. Then the lighter colour, this one is glued on. One more layer for the flower pot, which is the rim around the top. Here we go. We want this one to pop out which means it's foam square time. If you can hear music, there's an ice cream van going around outside. Not quite sure it's that time of year yet, but it is very warm at the minute. There's that one. And then the white for the diploma will be also foam squared. Lots of pop in this design. There. And last bit of foam square for the star. Just goes sort of roughly in the bottom section, wherever you want it to go. And then 2 more bits to be glued, starting with the outline on the diploma. Not doing a very good job at this. Luckily, I can move it about before the glue dries. And then last little piece is the ribbon around the middle. And that's my sunflower graduation flower pot all finished. You can see there's lots of depth in there from all those foam squares, and it's looking lovely and all ready to go in a shadow box. And I've also made the smaller one that I showed you at the beginning. It's very tiny and cute. Look at it in comparison to see the difference. For this one, I only used 1 layer of foam squares because it was so small. I didn't want it to pop out too much, so I've used foam to stick on the orange of the sunflower, and then the rim of the flower pot and the star. Everything else is glued, so you can see there's only 1 layer of the foam squares in there, compared to this one, which has got a lot. So it's completely up to you how many layers you stick with the foam. You can follow this video or follow the assembly guide in your download folder exactly like this, or go your own way and change it about a bit. I hope that you enjoyed this video on how to make a graduation shadow box with your Cricut machine, or a graduation card. Whichever one you choose, this design is perfect. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel for loads more free SVGs and Cricut crafts. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!